Imagine you're standing at an industrial location in Kajaani, Finland. Job is to pick up an excavator, 27 tons of it, but you can't for the life of you find the pickup location. So you do what comes natural to you. You go talk to one of the loaders. And because Swedish is North Germanic and Finnish is Uralic, you'd figured you'd do the exchange in English to make it as smooth as possible for everyone. Well, Alexander here, he did not wake up on the helpful side of his bed today and he's giving you grief. You're almost convinced he's intentionally being hard to communicate with. After some back and forth and aggressive Finnish pointing, the Satana Perkele is one breath away. Because you feel like Alexander here is about to snap. His foreman Jukka steps in and shows you the pickups is right here, no problem. So, with adrenaline rushing through your body and a hefty delay, we get back to work on these Truck Sim Diaries. And in this video series, I record my Euro Truck Simulator 2 gameplay, and I use it as a backdrop for my unscripted thoughts on what's going on in my life and the world around me. Sometimes I will have a lot to say, sometimes I will just comment on the gameplay, and sometimes I'll just be quiet. Either way, I am very glad you're here, so let's hop in the truck and see if we can get this excavator on the road, huh? But before we do anything, let's recap our progress on the Truck Sim Diaries Cruising Nordic Horizons event. This is an event we're running based on the World of Trucks community event with the same name, where we're going to do a delivery to or from all of the cities in the latest DLC, Nordic Horizons. Right now, we are in Kajaani, which we haven't checked off yet, so we're doing the pickup, and we are going to do the delivery to Dombås, Norway. So it's a pretty long drive for today, but we'll get to check off 2 cities at least. I was hoping that we could do a delivery to Ivalo, because then Finland would be all done, but I don't have a say in what jobs are available when, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. Oh, and another note on the gameplay here, I am running a modded game to reflect the real world weather where I live in Sweden. Also, I've set the game time to match the date of recording, which will have an impact on the daylight hours, especially up in the north. This is to give you the real immersive experience and to let you know what kind of environment I'm coming from at the time of recording. Let's continue. So if I would have known where this pickup was, I could have set myself up for a better pickup situation here, but like I said, we're just gonna have to roll with it. I think it's gonna be fine. I'm just not able to talk as much when I'm doing advanced reversing because my mind is like an ant's. It's running on these simple impulses. But I think I have enough space to turn it all around here, and the reversing shouldn't be too difficult. Don't quote me on that, though. I guess it's all about making a clever setup for yourself to make it as simple as possible. Alright, let's load this cargo. Cargo's loaded.
Time to hit the road.
It's time to the road. We are going to drive for 1,483 kilometers. We got fuel for 1,114, so there's going to be at least one refuel. ETA is 25 hours and 6 minutes, so it's a bit of a long one compared to what we have been doing recently. We need to rest in 9 hours and 25 minutes. So at some point we are going to have to stop and make a plan, which is not my strongest feature. So maybe we just pull it over right here. And let's do two things. First, let's step out and take a look at the cargo. So one of the things I like the best about having these open types of trailer, like this low bed and also the flat bed, is you get to see the cargo. I think it looks really cool. With all the attachment. This is a Volvo excavator. I think it's from some kind of DLC, I'm not sure. I don't really remember. And for me, I've always thought it was kind of hard to believe that just these chains are going to be enough. But you know, that's what it looks like. I guess they know what they're doing. So yeah, let's hop in the truck. Alright, we are here in Kajaani. We are going to drive up north through Torino, Luleå, Skellefteå, bypassing Arvidsjaur. We haven't been there yet. Go by Östersund and then into Norway. Now, we need to rest in 9 hours and 20 minutes. That'll put us by Arvidsjaur. So maybe we stop in Arvidsjaur for a rest. If it has resting locations, which I think it does. It could, hopefully it's the Hotel Laponia, but we'll see when we get there. I don't know what kind of details they implemented. So next checkpoint is in 8 hours and 28 minutes, 9 hours and 20. We only have 1 hour's margin, so it's time to get going.
Time to get the job done.
We're probably not going to make it because there's good. I bet you there's going to be some other, but just we'll see. What are we doing here? Oh, they're waiting for the crash. We won't do that. The crash is for the fuel station and they're all gonna refuel. These orange poles here are along the road, both here in Finland, and we have them everywhere in Sweden. We put them up so that the snow plowing vehicles are going to be able to follow the road.
Go straight on.
Because you never know what kind of amounts of snow you will get, so after a night of intense snowing, you may only be able to see just the tips of those things. So it's to give the snow plowing, the snow clearers, at least some chance. This is quite the buildup of vehicles just going into that fuel station. But you know, maybe. Well, I noticed yesterday I was out driving. Fuel prices are like really low in Sweden. I don't know why. But I guess because of politics, I assume. But I was a little surprised. I refueled my car for about 500 euros. No, sorry, 50 euros. We have... That would be about $50, I suppose, roundabout. So in Sweden we have our own currency called Swedish crowns, and 10 Swedish crowns is around €1, and €1 is normally around $1. Of course, it'll fluctuate, but that's kind of, if you want to do simple head math of translating the economy, that's pretty, unless you're buying something extremely expensive, you can kind of if it's that way. It's just simple. I'm so bad at math, so that helps me, because I can think. That's no problem for me to convert in my head. Oh shit, we're running yellow. Fuck, we're running red. God damn. I was just about to say, let's make this a violation-free delivery, but I suppose we're violators now. And as you can tell, the Christmas lights have come off. We are at the last day of the year, so this is New Year's Eve. I might not be able to get this out on New Year's Eve, but not too far behind. And so now we are all collectively looking forward. I really appreciate this time of year when everyone, because Christmas is so intense. And no, like I talked about earlier, I am convinced that no one really likes Christmas. Everyone, because if everyone loved Christmas so much, they wouldn't be so fucking eager to stow it away once it's over. Like, New Year's Eve hits and it's just gone. There are still like some official Christmas days left, like the 13th day after, someone did, who knows, who cares? But it is proof of my thesis that I am correct, because Christmas is thrown away pretty quickly once New Year comes around. There are still some Christmas treats left. The days in between Christmas and New Year, we celebrate New Year exactly 1 week after Christmas in Sweden. We celebrate Christmas on the 24th. So it's like the day after, like 2 days after Christmas Eve. There's still some Christmas feeling to it. But after that, it just fucking goes away. Everyone is so fucking sick of it. And I think it's best to just tone it down maybe a little bit. Either way, New Year's Eve is here, and we're, it's like this breath of fresh air, because we're looking forward. Winter is far from over. Winter is just beginning. Normally, January and February are the coldest months, and thus far we have not had much snow at all. We have some snow, And like I said, I am playing. When I have snow in real life, I will have snow when I'm recording. That way you can kind of see what environment like I said, I'm coming from. However, I cannot control the amount of snow. It's either going to be a lot of snow or there's going to be no snow. And we don't have a lot of snow now. And like I said, it's New Year's Eve today. So
Please watch the speed limit.
thus far, the winter hasn't really been very wintry. But looking at the forecasts, that is about to change because the coming days we're gonna get a lot of snow. My kids are psyched, and I'm a little torn, as always, because now that we've had a winter that was very warm, very mild thus far, we've had, like, it's all been gray and raining. It's not very fun. But, yeah. It's about to hit us, and it is about to hit us hard. We're about to get this, what we're looking at here. Right now, we only have some white dust on the covering. Like everything is sugar-coated, but we're about to get it in droves. And, it's good because it's a little lighter, and the kids and my wife, they get so very happy by it. However, I work as an electrician, so I have to be outside in it. I'm not looking forward to that very much, but it's unavoidable. And January and February are the coldest months, and that's when it's gonna hit freezing. Now, after that comes March and April, and those are potential spring months, but nothing is certain. Winter can go. It's not abnormal for winter to go as far as about 2/3 into April. It could be it could be spring and warm weather, sunshine and flowers, but it could also be this, what we're looking at now. April weather in Sweden is deceptive. There are a lot of memes concerning it that are pretty fun. It's like, oh look, the sun, and then fuck, like the snowstorm hits. So it can be taxing for sure. But I'm looking forward to that. That's the thing about New Year's Eve. Like, I don't do a lot of retrospective because I have such bad memory. My memory is not simply bad. It's more like I'm having a hard time, remembering what I did at what point. Like, I remember everything, but when I did it is a little bit of a, it's a little bit of a gray area. I'm not always sure. So, for for New Year's, I don't normally spend too much time,
Go straight up.
thinking about, oh fuck, here we go. I don't spend too much time thinking about what has passed. I am more I'm more looking forward. But I figured without using any tool, like I could look at the pictures of my phone, go back in time and just see kind of exactly what I did, because I take pictures of the things that I do. So, but who really cares? Highlights of this year for me was, of course, the strength training. That I started doing that. I got into before this year. I've been doing. I stay active. I do kayak paddling. I mountain bike. I run. So I'm in pretty good shape. I just haven't done any.
Keep right, and then turn right.
Oh shit! I haven't really done any structured kind of strength training. So I started doing that. I started making sure that my diet was on point with what I wanted to achieve, you know, fitness-wise. That was a huge change that I did. Basically, almost stopped drinking alcohol. Yeah, so, and that's been working out great. So that was a huge change that I did. I built the gym, got back into hiking. I've always been into hiking, but my interests kind of come and go. Thus far, one huge change, or socially, I made some really big changes as well. I dealt with my problematic gaming habit, and my mental well-being. And that has also been working really well, because this winter I have been feeling so much better than I normally do. I normally go into seasonal depression, and I haven't felt any kind of depression this winter thus far. It's normally, I don't think it's snow related, but I'm not sure. We will see when the snow hits. Because it's darkness related, because I have been, you know, even though I don't think of the darkness as a problem, it is, because I stopped doing a lot of the outside activities that I enjoy because of the darkness. And because I stopped doing a lot of outside activities, I stopped moving as much. Like, I stopped staying active. And I just go sit by the PC instead. So I've kind of dealt with that by, you know, wearing a fucking headlamp and just go do it in the dark. And also, the gym that I built for myself, it is, of course, an indoors gym, so I can always do that. It's not dependent on the weather, which I also think is one of the biggest factors as to why I have been feeling so much better thus far this winter. But like I said, I'm not gonna stab a flag into the ground just yet, because winter is far from over. It is quite literally just beginning. But I am looking very, very good thus far. Literally and figuratively. So with that retrospective out of the way, I kind of want to start looking forward. And there's a lot to look forward to for next year, for 2026. It feels weird. 2026, I think 2025 felt weird too. So I guess I'm growing old, I think. Anyway, I've been talking about this quite a lot. I've got a couple things planned for 2026. One of them is going on a pretty long hike. It's a 7-day hike in the Swedish mountains, and climbing Sweden's highest mountain, Kebnekaise. It is not like a well, I guess some parts are, but for the most part it is not like mountain climbing with ropes and shit, because the Swedish mountains are very flat. They're just it's just high up. And that's the thing I've been looking forward to my entire life. And I remember just today's... My daughter is turning 10 soon. And I remember the days before she was born. Me and a friend of mine, we were planning on, going on a longer Swedish hike in the Swedish mountains. And I was a little naive going into parenting, because my wife, she was like standing next to, while I was on the PC just showing her things that I wanted to do. Like, she was looking at the screen, and I was like, yeah, I think, we're gonna go here, and do this and this. And she's like, and when do you plan on doing this? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, in a month or two? Like, I mean, I can be gone for a week or 10 days, right? And she was like, you're about to have a kid. Like, are you out of your mind? Or are you stupid? And I was like, honestly, I didn't understand, what she was talking about. Because, I thought that, she'll be fine a couple days. But, it was, of course you can't do something like that. So I didn't, of course. However, ever since, like, for the longest time, I've been wanting to do something like that. You just get a big old backpack and just stuff it with everything you need for a week, and just be out for a week. Just do the hiking thing. We have this really beautiful hiking trail in the northern Sweden, in the mountains, that is called the King's Trail, and the plan is to follow that. From the northernmost point going south for 7 days, and then do the mountain climb, and then go home. So that's one of the huge goals. And normally I don't operate in goals, because well, it's not a goal. It's one of the things that I look forward to, I suppose. Because when I set goals, I immediately get like, I immediately feel the pressure. And I don't like pressure. It doesn't work, super well for me. And especially not, breaking promises to anyone, or myself for that matter. It's not very fun. It is a plan. I have involved other people in the plan who are said that they're going to tag along, so I guess I feel some responsibility towards them as well. Should my motivation drop.
Exit now.
And this, of course, something like that requires a lot of gear. I love hiking gear, but it is expensive. And you know, I've been collecting it for multiple years. I have most of it, but not all of it. However, my wife, this crazy woman, this crazy, logical, clever, stupid woman, she gave me a tent for Christmas. We had said that we don't give each other Christmas gifts, but she did anyway. And that's just... It was a really nice tent. So I have almost everything I need now, and I am incredibly thankful. I mean, of course, you know, she gifted me a really nice thing, and that means, you know, she gifted me a really nice thing that I really, really want. And that is, of course, you know, that is, of course, beautiful. It's a fantastic gift. It is more than I could ever hope for. And I'm having a little bit of a hard time, you know, believing it, that it's actually true. But the best thing about that, her giving me, you know, still find it fucking hard to believe. She actually gave me the tent for Christmas. The thing that I love the most about that is that I feel that I have her support, you know? Because back then, when I was planning to go on the trip like that, of course there was no way that... I mean, she wanted me to be happy and stuff, but... Like, you know, to a point. Because I can't, you know, of course I can't go hiking for 10 days and leave her alone with a little baby. Of course not. I know that now. I mean, I'm stupid, but I'm not stupid enough to not learn. I'm stupid, but I am not stupid enough that I don't learn from my mistakes. Because I do. Believe it or not. But yeah, feeling that, of course, I also want to go hiking with her and sleep in the tent with her. She's a little bit, you know, she's a little she's a little back and forth with the motivation, we could say. Like, I have to do it when she's in when she's in the right mental state. I think she'd be down for it. But she's not like me, who's like, let's go out now. Which brings me to one of my other goals. I think goals. I don't know. I don't want to use the term goal. One of the things that I look forward to, a little plan I have, a little thought I have. This is right on the verge of, you know, being too. Oh shit! I should have run with strobes on. What I'm trying to say is that if I set it as a goal, I might feel that it's too much pressure, and if I don't want to do it, I'm going to have to do it anyway because there's pressure, because I've set a goal, and But a thought that I have, something that I thought would maybe be fun, and as part of preparing for the hike, would be to sleep outside in the tent one time per month for the entirety of 2026. I think that could be fun. It'll be winter now in January. The gear is fine for winter, so Man, I haven't slept outside since I was in the military. And there was a lot of sleeping outside when I was in the military. And it's like, we're gonna drive through out of itself where I did my military service. And that was a fantastic part of my life. I don't know, besides having kids, which is unexplainable, and that is a topic, in and of itself, but doing the military thing was a fantastic experience for me. I was up in the up north like this. There was a lot of snow, really cold, skiing, chasing Russian tanks in the Swedish mountains. Kicking down doors, night vision goggles, a whole one big video game. But those things aside, like riding helicopters, and just, man, I got so many stories. All those things aside, the biggest takeaway from doing Arctic, survival, where you're left alone in the woods without anything to eat for multiple days at a row. The biggest takeaway is what happens internally. I got to know my own limits. I know what happens to me when I go beyond those limits. I know how to... So they do this... We did this survival thing. When it was snow, like this. Everything was frozen. And we did it at the end of a big exercise when we all thought that we were gonna go home. We were all exhausted from the exercise. Like this big military training event where there was war games and stuff. We've been out multiple nights, just, you're pretty worn out after something like that. And then we got into the survival training, which is training by doing, It's not like theory first, and then we go outside when we're ready. You just do it. And it was so excruciatingly, painfully hard. And you thought you were going to do one thing, and then that light was snuffed out, and you didn't understand at first. You thought it was going to be one extra thing for an hour, and then you thought it was going to be one extra thing for an afternoon, and then sun goes down, and you're like, what the fuck? Why am I not at base cleaning my rifle, warm and fed? But instead you were out alone in the fucking woods in northern Sweden, just a knife and nothing, Some Bear Grylls shit. It was crazy on the mind. And that's the takeaway. That's what they wanted to, that's of course what they wanted to teach you with that stuff. That you won't always, you gotta be prepared for the things you can't prepare for. Be prepared for the unexpected,
Please watch the speed limit.
And after something like that, no matter what happens, I can kind of default to that. It made such a huge impression that you really learn that, whatever happens, it can always change, the rug can be pulled out from under you. And then 2, if it does, you've done that before. Not saying that I'm automatically gonna make it, but it's just that the shock of having a huge change come out of nowhere, the edge is kind of taken off, something like that. And that is a big, like, that's a big confidence boost to have, and that I've had, you know, going through
Keep right
my entire life.
and then exit right. Exit right. Get ready to turn left. Turn left.
And another thing that I did for 2025, a big change that I made, that I'm still learning how to do, is set emotional boundaries and stand by them. To kind of, I'm trying to treat myself a little bit better, because historically I've always been of the
Go straight on.
I've always thought that whatever I feel is wrong. I've talked about this multiple times before, but I'm going to keep coming back to it, because it's a huge issue for me that I am working on, struggling with, trying to learn how to live with, change, just cope with, I suppose, many times. And that is a problem I have, that whenever I feel something, I always think that it's the wrong thing to feel, that I'm doing something wrong by feeling the way I do. And that is of course not the case, and I know this logically. It is just very hard to change, because it runs so very, very, very deep. But I am working on it, and I am making progress. And it's not like I'm not being tortured by anyone other than myself, of course. But it will have, it won't be easy for me, and it won't be easy for everyone else around me when I'm working on this change. And what I mean by boundaries is not like aggressive boundary setting like you do with narcissists. Though, because those boundaries, I I could do that, and I have always done that. Well, I've not always, but for my entire adult life. But these are boundaries concerning my emotions. And like, I need to stand up for myself. I need to stand up for my emotions. I need to let myself feel my emotions, be okay with how, if I feel something, that is the thing, that is okay, that is the thing that I feel.
Go straight on.
Like, I can't control what I feel, but I can control what I do with it. And let's see, the sleep is in 2 hours and 4 minutes. Out of its hour is just coming up, so we're probably going to be just fine. Anyway, I need to let myself feel my emotions.
Please mind the speed.
And also, I need to let myself handle them the way that I do. And that is, for instance, when I go through an intense emotional experience, if I get upset about something, angry about something, if I feel, whatever, I talked about this in some previous episode not long ago, like, my emotions will rush over me. And while they are in this rushing period, like this rushing phase, I am not ready to talk about them, because I'm having trouble formulating them. I have trouble, choosing the right words. And once the words come out, you can't put them back in again. You can explain around it, but you will have to stand for what you say and do. And I'm not always ready to do that, so I need to be quiet. And me being quiet will be interpreted in multiple different ways, and I cannot always adapt.
Get ready to turn left.
But sometimes I just need to let myself go through that phase, and I need to stand up for myself, because historically I've been so quick about being like, oh, everything I feel is wrong, everything I do is wrong, and I just lay flat. Just try to change way before I'm actually ready. Going into out of its hour like this, we're back into talking about the game now. Just about straight up here would be the military base. I doubt that that's where we're gonna sleep. Because when you come right through it, you make a left. Well, I guess that would be...
When possible, make a U-turn.
maybe making a right. Depending on where you come from. Alright, so here is rest stop nation, I suppose. Can we turn left here and sleep here in the dark? Maybe that'd be nice. Oh yeah, there's other trucks here. Oh yeah. Alright, let's get to sleep. We wake up 9:47 in the morning. Sun is up. And it's time to push on. Yeah, this looks like about it. The layout of the town looks a little bit different, but that's pretty close. Guess the way they drew it, maybe the regiment should be down this street. There are a couple cool things about out of its out. They have a lot of they got this hotel that is very small city. Oh, this would be the Sibylla, the restaurant, and the yeah, this is it. Then the military base will be down this road. And it's this famous place, and they've got, it's just a burger place, fast food shop, but they have, you know, they serve hard liquor and beer, which is not very common in Sweden. That is pretty cool. Anyway, out of its out has, it's a very small town, but it survives off of course, the army. And there's quite the extensive network of core testing. So a lot of
Go straight up.
a lot of the car brands, they take their cars up to Arvidsjaur. They have this network of test tracks where they can do Arctic testing for their vehicles. So that's a pretty big thing. So you see these, when I was here, it was quite common to see these masked. You know how masked, prototype vehicles look? They've covered the car to hide the shapes of it, and they've painted it in this almost zebra-like pattern to further mask the shapes of the car, so no one will know what it's like. And you could see these cars sneak around, downtown, and if you got too close, they would kind of back up, so you wouldn't be able to get too close to it. That was kind of cool. But man, I was there in 2004, so that's a long, 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 long time ago. And I've only been back there once. I went there with my wife in, I think, 2013 or 2014. So I did the thing more than 20 years ago, and I've been back there in more than 10 years. And it's just so weird to imagine that since I was there last time, the same amount has passed since I was there the first time. But since I was there last time, feels like it was just a couple of years ago, like a handful of years ago. I was born in Umeå. When I was a kid, my parents weren't really there. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents who lived even further north. Well, there you go. They lived even further north, closer to the mountainous areas. And even though my parents, they got better jobs, so they moved us from Umeå to Uppsala, where I still live now. When I was just a little kid. But even though I moved away from there when I was very young, I've always felt like this is home to me ever since I was a little kid, because I guess I remember it, you know, when I lived in Umeå, and I was spending time with my parents. Well, sorry, with my grandparents, because my parents were away. That was never a traumatizing experience for me, because I was too young to understand what was going on. Like that way, my parents weren't really there. And maybe that's why I feel like when I lived in northern Sweden, everything was fine. And it wasn't until I moved from here that everything went to shit. Maybe that's why I feel such a close tie to northern Sweden. We got a bit of a fuel problem here. We have fuel for 330 kilometers. We need to pull over because we need to make sure that we can make it without running out of gas, or if we need to turn around, because we just passed a fuel stop. Here's the fuel stop we just passed, and here's the next one. We got fuel for 329 kilometers. It should be perfectly fine because this one is 119 kilometers away. All right, so never mind. Let's keep going. Because I've been thinking, like, I mean, it's not in my blood or anything like that. That's not how it works. It's not how anything works. I think it's one of two things. Or...
Please mind the speed.
Oh, I am not taking another speeding ticket. I think it's either or and. You know, it's because when I was here, when I was a kid, I felt fine. I felt safe. Everything was good. That was the last time everything was fine. Even though it wasn't, I was too young to understand. And two, it's just simply in line with my preferences. You know, I haven't felt like this my entire life, because when I was young, when I was a teenager, of course I wanted the urban life with whatever shit came with that. But as I've grown older, because I feel this tug of the north, also I start thinking more about it when I have, since I've had kids for myself. Shit. Oh God. Like I started thinking about what's a safe environment, what's a good environment for kids, what's and like when did I last feel that? And I feel like I want to live up here, even though I know it's not without its own set of problems. Because resources are literally scarce up here. There's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of jobs. There's not. I mean, I was going to electricians. I can pretty much live everywhere, anywhere. My wife could not, and living the way I do now, I live in a, the houses are very close to each other. And it's basically an area where people move to have kids and let kids grow up, close to schools and kindergartens, and it's very, child-focused area, and it has its ups and downs for sure. The downs are, for me personally, because I don't want to hang out with other parents. That's not, This guy is indecisive on whether he's going to pass or not. Like, just the fact that we have children is not enough for me to be like, oh yes, let's, However, when the kids can just go over to their friends and see if their friends want to hang out without me having to plan with their parents, that is great. Because they also have, like, they have friends who live just across the street from us now, and that is the best. But like when they don't, it becomes quite the hassle, because then I will have to call the parents or text the parents of whomever they're going to hang out with and be like, hey, can little Timmy play? And I have to wait for the response, and we have to set a time, and then I have to go and drop them off, and we have to set a time where I go and pick them up, and it just becomes this project. Now they can just run across the street, everything's fine. They come and go as they want. So if I were to live like this, good luck even finding friends. So, for the kids, it wouldn't be the best, I think, in general. And my wife couldn't find a job, wouldn't be able to find a job, so obviously it's not going to happen. But I still feel the tug of it. I still feel like I am wasting a part of my life living where I don't want to live. Because I never asked to move here in the first place. I mean, I've chosen to stay. I've had plenty of chances to leave. But when that was viable, I was not in the mindset to, and now it's just too late.
Please mind the speed.
If it was just me, of course it wouldn't be too late. But there's a lot more people than me here. Oh, this little bakery? Yes, please.
Go straight on.
What little town is this? I don't know. be anywhere. Let's see what the sign says. Ah, Dorothea, of course.
Turn left.
Let's get some gas. This view that we have here is thoroughly Swedish. This darkness, the snow, the fucking... told you I'd get you the immersive experience. Alright, gas is in the truck. Let's get out of it. And I just came back from the visit to my in-laws that was planned. And though it was not a fantastic experience, I am so glad to be back, because now I am done with that. Normally I don't go, I stay and watch over the cat. But every now and then I have to go, just to, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why I have to go, but I have to. But that's done now, and I won't have to do it for fucking a year at least. That was okay. But not more than that. It was manageable. I did it, I survived. But now, let's focus on the good thing. Like I said, let's not be retrospective. So tonight is New Year's Eve, and we are having the neighbors and their kids, that is my kids' best friends. We're having them over for dinner, and I'm looking forward to this a lot. It's gonna be great. I am making a fancy dinner. And I am a little nervous about the food. I feel confident. Like I've got the best... let me see if I can translate the name of this piece of meat. I hope I don't crash doing this. That would be beef tenderloin, or the fillet of beef, or filet mignon. That's the well, by most considered the finest meat. Could be debatable. But I was shopping for it yesterday, and it was fucking packed, the food store. Because the New Year's Eve dinner is like a thing in Sweden. It's probably a thing everywhere else in the world as well. But like, we don't have many things in Sweden, but the one thing that we do have that is a thing is Christmas Eve dinner, and it's supposed to be this beef tenderloin. And it's not cheap. But, you know, once a year to celebrate the new year, I can kind of spoil ourselves. So I'm making that sous vide with some potato roasts, where I'm gonna slice potatoes in really, really thin slices and make them into roasts in a muffin tray, and then some green pepper sauce. I think it's gonna be awesome. I would have wanted to have made this dish, like, make a dry run. I didn't have time to do that, so we'll just see what comes of it. But I look forward to tonight a lot. It's gonna be great. The kids are gonna be happy, and the neighbor couple, they're very pleasant to spend time with. So that's gonna be awesome. And then we're gonna be into the new year.
Go straight on.
Just like we're into this snowstorm. All right, let's do some questions. One retrospective question. What is the most expensive purchase of 2025? And it wasn't the car, because that was 2024. So combined, if I could combine, if I were to combine all the hiking gear that I bought this year, that would probably be it. But that's multiple different smaller purchases, so that I don't think that really counts. So I'm going to say an iPad that I got. No, my chair. Right. So I got this. I got this chair. That is a chair just for me in the corner. In a corner that I found that I've decorated just for myself, and it's just this one chair with a footrest where no one else can sit. So it's just one seat, and that's where I sit when I just need to sit down for a little while. All right, next question. I thought that this one was pretty funny. Question is, even though there are no dumb questions, which there aren't, what is the dumbest question you've ever been asked? And I'm going to do, I don't know, historically, I don't remember. But keep staying on the retrospective topic here. I'm going to rephrase this as, what is the dumbest question you've been asked for 2025? And it was a friend of mine whom I was out hiking with.
Go straight on.
And he's a pretty young guy. I think he's not even 30 yet. And he's I think he's maybe a little bit stuck in life. Not sure, that's just from what I can gather, because he's working in this store, but he has this ambition that he's been talking about for pretty long. The things he wants to do in his life, changes he wants to make, different career paths, different opportunities that he wishes to pursue. One of those things that he wants to pursue is he wants to, for some reason, which I can never figure out, he wants to become a police officer. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, that's viable. And but first, he wants to do something in the military. He wants to do like his military service. And normally that would be conscription service that you do when you're 18 and you're just out of high school in Sweden. You do like it's a year, and then you just get on with it. It is a part of the defense system in Sweden, because you will be integrated in the defense. Even though you go back to civilian life, you're still kind of on call. Anyway, so he wants to do that, and he feels like he's a bit too old because he's now like 28 maybe, and he would have to do it with a bunch of 18-year-olds, and so he's a little old, but he's still very curious. So he has, like, we were out hiking, and this guy is just basically, if he cuts himself, he doesn't bleed. It's just questions that come out. That's all it's like, it is all questions all the time. It's fun. I like it. I like answering questions. I can't answer a lot of his questions, but to answer this question, we were talking about making fire in the military. I think we were talking about the survival, aspect of everything, and I'm like, we can't do that because with fire comes smoke, and then they find you, and then you're dead. So he's like, oh, and then just the natural, just the next question he came up with was like, so did you do any smoke signals in the military? And no, smoke signals is not really a thing. Especially in the military. It is not like it's a fucking cartoon where you hold this piece of cloth over the fire to just send some Morse code or some shit like that. And like in the I was in a very serious mindset, and so was he, because he was asking a lot of questions, things he wants to know, and that question has kind of blurted out of him. And it was just, I answered it like, no, smoke signals is not really, really a thing. And then we were both quiet for like 10 seconds and then kind of broke out laughing at, like, we both, you know, understood how stupid that question was after I had answered it because, well, you know, no one in their right mind would use smoke signals. In a military capacity. But it was a fun question. I feel like I did not take full responsibility for my sleep schedule here. We are coming up on Trondheim, but we need to sleep in an hour and 37 minutes, which is not a lot. Hopefully, you know, time runs faster in Euro Truck Simulator than in real life, especially when you're out on the road. So when you're out on the road, time, you know, is sped up. So is the distances, of course, otherwise this would take forever. I wouldn't mind, but, you know, it is what it is. We deal with the hints. That's, we play with the, you know what I mean. Now, let's see if we can, yeah, here we see Trondheim. We're almost there. But question is, will it be within an hour and 24 minutes? Because when we get into cities, normally time is slowed down so that, you know, how red lights and intersections and just the exploration aspect time won't be sped up as fast. So if we can get into the city borders, we can slow the clock down enough for us to make it to the rest stop within now. You can see it right low left of the GPS screen down here. It says RST. I guess that's rest, because that's how much in-game time there's left until we need to sleep. And it is now an hour and 10 minutes already, so it's ticking down quite fast. You could also see on the GPS that we're almost inside of Trondheim, Norway. So we've passed into Norway. And you can tell because we're going uphill. Like I said, Sweden is pretty flat. We have mountainous area, but it's not, you know, it's more like huge rolling mountainous area, not this dramatic stuff that Norway's got going. 58 minutes until we need to sleep. 57.
Take the second exit.
I'm gonna try not to crash because of speeding, but 53, 52. That was a heart attack. It was just a toll. 49. 48. 47. Come on, baby. 46. 45. Fuck. It's not slowing down. Shit. Maybe we can make it anyway. $38, $37, $36. $35, $34. Fuck. The rest stop has come into view in the GPS. Wow, this is exciting. Rarely does this game ever become stressful or exciting. 28. I think time has slowed down. Or maybe it hasn't. Nope, it hasn't. And I need to be able to see here. I'm gonna get off right because I need to go across this highway. 18 minutes.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
Oh, come on, baby.
Exit now.
14 minutes.
Okay, let's find a new route. At the roundabout, take the fourth exit.
Roundabout right, and then dodge left.
Finding a new route.
11 minutes.
Recompute. Make a U-turn.
What I'm the most nervous about at this point is that I need to find a place where it will, you know, register the sleep prompt. 9 minutes. I think time has slowed down and that we're gonna be just fine. What is this? Here, maybe? Yes. Let's rest it out. Thankfully, we made it. And we wake up at 8:41 in the morning. Sun is uppish. Fog has rolled in. We got 219 kilometers to go, and then we're going to be there.
Ready to roll.
Ready to roll. And now that we're in Norway, I am reminded I have an unanswered question from my dear viewer Cap. Cap asks, I noticed that there's no real border between Sweden, Finland and Norway. And I did not notice at first when I was doing the Nordic Horizons event, but now I know Norway is in the EU. Sorry, hold on, I'm just gonna stop right here, turn on this, and I'm gonna read this question. Sorry, I'll start over. I noticed today that there's no real border between Sweden, Finland and Norway, and I did not notice at first when I was doing the Nordic Horizons events, but now I know Norway is EU adjusted but no border. Aren't they like not EU? How? And that's right. There are no hard borders between Norway and Sweden, nor are there any, like... Norway is not in the EU. Sweden is in the EU.
Exit now.
Excuse me. But there's no border control, there's no passports, there's nothing of that. And I think it has to do with, like Cap was onto here,
Take the second
how Norway is adjusted to the EU, and I know that they're in the same, you know, economic something or the other.
exit now.
So there's free trade as if they were in the EU, except that they're not. I think this is because Norway has a lot of, let's call it assets. They have oil and they have a great nature reserve. So I think the EU really needs Norway, and they want to kind of pick the good parts and not the bad parts. And EU is like, that's fine, you know.
Keep left.
There's too much wealth in Norway to say anything else. And speaking of YouTube, I want to make a shout out to two viewers. Traveler K9M and The Missing Socket. Thank you for your kind comments. I'm really glad to have you guys on board. Same goes for Patty. You know, I'm always glad to read your comments, and I'm humbled by the fact that you enjoy this. And thank you for taking the time to view and taking the time to write me. I really appreciate it. All right, let's continue with some other ridiculous questions. Should we go light or should we go heavy? Let's go light. How attractive... Oh shit, I thought I was just got a speeding ticket. The question is, how attractive do you consider yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? And the thing is that, you know, I consider myself to be quite attractive. You know, I think I'm doing okay. I would say I think of myself as a 6. That means I'm probably a 5. This scale is just stupid. However, you know, it's there. But if I were as attractive as I consider myself to be, I should have been able to reap better rewards from it. If you know what I mean. Like, I should have noticed. There should be women swarming. But it's not. So I don't think I am as attractive as I think I am. But at least I'm doing the best with what I have. Let's just call it that. Alright, sorry about this. Next question. Next question is a little bit more serious. I just thought this one was funny. This question is, what is the best response to I miss you when you don't really miss them? And with a lot of things, like all these questions about what you're supposed to do in a situation or the other, it all depends so much. But let's do a couple of examples. If there's someone you think fondly of, someone you like, that you want to keep in your life, it's okay to tell them that you miss them too, even though you really deep down in your heart for the moment don't. That's okay. It's a white lie that is perfectly fine. You know, if you pull a white lie to make someone feel less awkward and maybe a little bit happier, then that's perfectly fine. Do that. They don't need to know, everyone does not need to know all your inner workings of all your emotions at all times. It's fine to tell them that you miss them too. However, if this is someone in your life that you don't miss because they've not really treated you very well, and you don't mind that they're out of your life, and you, honest to God, don't want them back, then it is fine to not reply at all. Just ignore the question. Because if someone says, I miss you, and you ignore it, that's going to mean something. You know? And sure, if you wanna make sure that they get it, then I mean, saying I don't miss you, that's just rude. And there's no reason to be rude, you know? Most of the times. So maybe don't do that. But if someone says, I miss you, and you say, oh, that's so sweet. I think your point will come across. It would borderline rude, but you know, sometimes you need to be honest. And you can be honest without being rude. There's a lot of tolls here in Norway. No wonder they have all this money. The reason why I talk about Norway as rich is because they have oil. So they do have, you know. All right, next question. Is ghosting a sign of emotional immaturity? And I would say yes and no. That completely depends. If it's your go-to response for a difficult situation, then yes. It's a little immature. Oh shit, what the fuck? Was that the curb? Biggest curb I've ever seen. Sorry. What I was saying is, if ghosting is your first response to a difficult situation, then yes, it's a little immature. Because you should be able to have difficult conversations. Without ghosting. However, if you've already tried that, like if you've already had the difficult conversation, you've already tried to make your point on a touchy subject or whatever, difficult conversation, then no. It's not immature. It might be the only, logical way out where you protect yourself from going fucking crazy. Because it could be that the person that you're having this difficult conversation is making you explain over and over again. It might be that they're using your reaction to their bad behavior as the problem and ignoring the fact that it is the bad behavior that is what's the problem in the first place. So like I said, depending on, you know, depending on the situation, it is not necessarily a sign of emotional immaturity. It might be even emotional maturity, that they know when to stop, you know? We got about 3 minutes of real world driving left, and I think we have time for one question that I find difficult, that it's a little difficult for me to answer. And I know I don't have the answers to everything. Sometimes I ask these questions out loud just to hear myself talk about it, to kind of figure out how I feel about it. And the question in this case is, how do you deal with people constantly sharing and showing shorts, reels, slop from the internet with you? And I think that this is a little difficult. And again, it depends. Like, friends who send you memes, the way you deal with that is remember that when they send you memes, if you come home and open your phone and you see that a friend of yours sent you a couple memes during the day, it means that they saw something fun, they thought of you, and then they shared. So in that case, you know, just be happy. Even though the memes might not be funny or whatever, just, I don't know, send them a thumbs up or something. Just, it's not the end of the world. It's actually quite nice. It's cute. However, I keep running into this problem of people, and this can be close friends that I like a lot, but they keep bringing their phones up to show you funny shit that they found online. And I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to stare at your screen. It's not funny. Like, it's just awkward. So, what do you do in a situation like that? A friend of yours is talking about something that they find funny. Cover your ears, honey. About to blast these cops. So, you're in this situation. You're talking to a friend of yours, and the phone comes up. And normally, it's like, oh, look at this funny thing. You're supposed to, they hold their phone, they hold their phone up, and you're supposed to look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's funny. And then they show you something else, and then something else, and then something else, and you're like, what even is this? I mean, it's never funny. Memes rarely are that funny. They're not. Look, memes aren't as fun as you think they are. They're just not. So what do you do? Like, I'm at the verge of being like, should I say, dude, I get that you think it's fun, I just don't. You know, so could we please not with the phone? But that's, you know, that's boring. That makes you boring. You're like, can we not do the thing that you found funny? It'd be like, can we be serious? Like, there's a little Asperger. But it fucking kills me, man. Like, just standing there like a doofus, just, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna fucking laugh? So what I do is I look at the screen and I'm like, ah, nothing. Like, I don't give them the reward for showing me, but I still feel like a fucking moron because I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I don't know if that's the best thing to do. Just get me out of this. Help.
Get ready to turn right.
That's how I feel about it.
Turn right. Turn left.
We're checking off Dombås. Alright, this was a pretty long one. We went from Kajaani, Finland to all the way southwest to Dombås, Norway. From here, we can go to Ålesund, Kristiansund, Trondheim, and Stensjär to pick up cargo for the next job. But all in all, we are checking off 2 cities, Kajaani and Dombås. So, alright, stats for this big one. 1,499 kilometers for 38.8 liters of fuel, for carrying 26 tons of excavator. So I think this is not very, could have done better. 4% of damage. Let's get to this one later. 1 hour and 46 minutes of driving. So this is a long one. Thanks you for your patience. From Kajaani to Dombås, odometer of the truck is at 264,632 kilometers, or, you know, it's a substantial. We were fine, collision, fine, talk it. Oh god, what a disaster. Some of this collision stuff is me shooting B-roll footage, so that's when I film the truck from externally and drive it at the same time. This is kind of stuff that happens. It's not avoidable. It's unavoidable. I could do better. This is a bit much, maybe. All right, income is 81,537 credits. So we made some money on this one. 12,230 went taxes. 2,270 was fines and collisions. Fuel cost was 931. Oh, damage cost was 2,000 credits. So that's nothing. Revenue after all that's said and done, 64,104 credits. 3 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 for damage, 5 out of 5 for distance, 1 out of 5 for fines, 4.5 stars for fuel economy, 4 stars for mass, 569 hardcore points. So this was not the best job I've ever done. I'm gonna take this with me and do better next year. But despite my driving, I am still happy that you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time with this. I really do appreciate it. A lot. And remember to take care of yourself. You are important and you need to last for a long time. Happy New Year. Bye.